All right, guys, welcome to Nurture Your Database campaigns. For today's class, we're going to be taking a look at email campaigns within Command, how to create those, and how to send them. My name is Kate with Scott Leray Marketing, and I'll be your teacher today. Again, might be a little bit quieter today, so class might be a little bit shorter, just if there's not a ton of questions, but we will get through everything, and happy Red Day. Without further ado, let's jump into Command. We want to get started in our Command platform. If you're not familiar with Command, that website is agent.kw.com. Oh, got someone coming in. Um, Now from the Command home screen, yours might look a little bit different from mine, and that is okay. You can customize this home screen slightly based on what's important to you. So if you're seeing a couple different items, that is okay. Before we jump into campaigns and start creating our email, there's just a little bit of back-end work we want to do within our marketing profile. So to access your marketing profile, we're going to hit this drop down to the right of your name in Command. From there, we're going to go into settings. Now, once we're in settings, we want to take a look at this left-hand menu and we want to go to connect settings. And from there, we want to go into that marketing profile. Now, this marketing profile is very important because this profile is the one that is going to feed over your personal information to your branded website, your branded consumer app, as well as some of the marketing that we're creating today, specifically for email campaigns. So making sure this profile is up to date before you jump in is going to be very important because you do have to update it here. So if you're missing a photo, you want to make sure that is included. It is recommended 360 by 360 pixels. You can always email our support team. We're happy to resize those photos if you need to. I will drop our email in the chat. It is just support@scottleroymarketing.com. And again, we're happy to resize those photos. Moving down, team logo. This one is not required. However, for today's class specifically, it is going to be very important to have something here. Now, if you are not a team, you have a couple of options. If you have branded yourself as a solo individual agent, you can, of course, add that logo here instead. Other alternatives, if you're not on a team and don't have a team logo or branded logo, you can add a generic KW logo here. You can also just add your photo if you'd like to. You can add a second headshot or just add that one again. I'll show you when we're in our email design where that will pull to. If you don't include a photo here, when you send out your email design, you may have an image that looks like a broken image, and it will send that way to clients. So we just recommend having something here. Moving down, your details, so your first, last name, license number, again, not required, but very important. And if it's not there, you can see some errors in the email campaign specifically. Same for job title and designation. Those are ones that if they're not included, you may get an error if your design is using those pieces of information. So fill out as much as you can here. You can add if you have military affiliations. This has a drop down. You can select from any of the options, including family member, patriot, and supporter, whatever you'd like. You will want to have your bio included here. Again, this is going to feed to your website, your branded consumer app. So definitely important to have that up to date. Moving down, you'll have your phone numbers, your email, and then the website that you prefer. If you're using the KW website, you'll want to make sure that is the full website URL. And when using the KW sites, you want to make sure you are not using www. That will cause the website to fail. Most websites these days don't need the www. So moving down, your market center information. This should be your market center specific logo. If you need help finding that, you can visit this hyperlink here and it will allow you to download your market center specific logo. You have your other market center details on the right-hand side. If you're in an office that requires specific compliance to your legal footer, if you have to have links included or legal images, all of those can be added here. So definitely check with your office, your compliance coordinator, broker in charge. They'll be able to let you know if any of that is necessary. Moving down your social links, if you have any social media platforms you would like to have hyperlinked to your website, you want to make sure those are added here. Again, the full hyperlink on these, the full URL for those public-facing profiles. And then lastly, Google Analytics. If you are using a Google Analytic tracking ID to track what's going on your website, you can include that here. Now, once you're done, you're just going to go ahead and hit that save button. It will make sure any changes you made will go into effect. For those of you that maybe hopped on just a little bit late, we're just going over the marketing profile. This is very important for email campaigns specifically today because it is going to pull details from this profile into our designs. We're going to go ahead and head back to our home screen though. And then from here, we're going to navigate down to designs, okay? Before we create our email campaign, we're going to go ahead and make our email design template first and then pull that in. So if you're not familiar with these applets, it's the one that looks like a paintbrush with a canvas. And if you hover over it, it will say designs. Now, from the designs dashboard, if you don't have any designs pulling, that is okay. Maybe you haven't created anything just yet. These are going to be designs that we've previously created within our command platform. For today's class, we want to go ahead and just hit create design. And from there, we want to take a look at email. And next. These are going to be the templates that are available by KWRI. They've created these. You're welcome to use any of these and re-customize them for whatever you are interested in using it for. We will take a look at one of the templates, but before we do that, we're going to create an email design from scratch. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to click create a new template in the top right-hand corner. And from there, we're going to be brought into our email editor. You'll see that in the URL. Now we can name our design. We'll just name this one class like I always do. Keeps it simple. Up top, that top banner, the other options we have are this little options dropdown that allows you to preview your email, send yourself a test email, or download. You can save, save and close, and exit. Your other banner right here above the design is going to allow you to view this design on the different devices. So you can view what it will look like on a desktop, a tablet, or a mobile device. To the right, we have view components, preview our email, undo, and redo. Okay, so a few options. Now moving over to the right, this is where we're going to start to create our design. It's where we're going to add in different pieces of content and really create our email that's going to go out. Now we have blocks. That's what we're seeing below. It shows our layout and our content. We also have background. So if you click over to background, you can adjust the body width of your email. It is recommended at least 600 pixels, so just keep that in mind. Your container padding. When you think of padding, it's going to kind of be the border or area around the design, okay? So you can adjust that. You can change your background. So if you'd like to use a photo or if you just want to use a color, you can go ahead and do that as well. You can select any color you'd like and go ahead and change that. Now I'm going to leave mine white for today's class. It is the easiest on the eyes in my opinion, but you can certainly adjust that. If you want to add an image, you just click that and hit replace. That will allow you to add different photos you've previously used. So these are going to be images that we've used on another email design. If you want to upload your own image from your computer, you're going to hit add, and that's where you can then upload that directly from your device. Now again, we're going to leave this as color and we're going to leave it white. It makes it a little bit easier. We're going to head back to blocks, okay? Now within the layout, you can create a layout if you want to. There's the option for one column. When you're trying to utilize these different layout features, you're just going to click on it and then drag and drop, okay? So you have one column. You can use two columns. There's three. You have the 3, 7. And you also have a divider. Now that green line is going to indicate where that divider is going to be placed. So you can kind of drag and play around with that. If you want it just over one item, if you want it over the entire thing, you can kind of adjust that as you'd like, okay? Now, if you added one of these by accident, you'd like to remove it, you can click over the entire thing. So if we click on one box, it's not going to allow us to delete. But if we click like in the center between those or on the outside of it over here, it will allow us to delete that entire field, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and delete these. Now that we've taken a look at layout, we can go down to content. So now we're gonna start building our email design from scratch. I always like to start with the legal header. So we're gonna drag and drop that over. And then I like to pull in the legal footer. We're gonna put that down here. Now you'll see that some of these appear to be missing information. They kind of look like they need to be edited. The images appear broken. This is that information that we looked at the marketing profile for, okay? So this information is going to pull directly from that marketing profile. In order to edit any of these fields, you will need to edit it in the marketing profile. You can't click on this box and edit any of this information here. So the way to make sure that everything is pulling and that everything is working properly is to go ahead and hit this little preview. That will allow you to view what is being pulled from your marketing profile. Okay, so everything is pulling. This is where that team logo will pull to. So if you do not have a picture in that location, when your email goes out, it is going to have an image that looks like this. Okay, so that's why we emphasize making sure you have something included there. Okay, and that license number, again, if it's not in your profile, you'll get an error when you try to submit this. So make sure all of that information is filled out. If you add a photo in the team logo section, it will automatically be there. You won't have to go and update it every time. Okay, so legal header and legal footer. The next thing we want to take a look at is adding text. Okay, so I'm going to drag this and put it in our column box. And then I can go ahead and start editing this. Now, if I want to edit this, I just click on that box and you'll see that I have edit text on the right-hand side. Now I can go ahead and change the font if I want to. I can change the size. If I want to make it bold or underlined. If I want to change the color, let's go ahead and do purple. Let's say this is a May newsletter. And then you can add emojis, you can adjust the width. These are going to be pretty standard. These styling options are going to be pretty standard throughout. So the width is going to be how wide that is. If we do 50, it's going to make that kind of wrap the text because it's only allowing for 50% of that space. The padding, if we do, let's do 50 so you guys can see it. Again, that's going to create space above and below. So if you were interested in that, you can, of course, do that. There's also going to be the option for a border. And that will add a border right around the item that you're editing. You can change the width to make it thicker. You can change the radius, which will curve it on the corners. You can change the color if you want to. Let's say we want to grab this exact purple. We can do that using the dropper, or we can just drag and select a color, okay? So lots of options there. I'm going to turn that off though. Once we're done, there's no save. We just hit back. It will automatically make those changes. Now we have this little divider that we added. That's another thing that we can change the height of that, the thickness. We can change the color, the padding, the position, all of those can be edited again, okay? So lots of options there when you are editing that. Now I'm going to pull over text one more time and we're going to say hello and we're going to want to address this to our client, okay? So there is this merge tag option up here. merge tags. When you click on that, you have the ability to pull in various information about yourself, the agent. All of this is pulling from that marketing profile that we took a look at the beginning of the class. So if any of this is missing, your designation, your bio, and you're trying to pull them in, your Facebook link, if they're not in your marketing profile, you will see an error. So just keep that in mind. That's why making sure that marketing profile is up to date is very important. Moving down, you also have some market center options, okay? So these are also pulling from that marketing profile. Your legal footer, so if you need those links to be included or anything like that, they can be pulled in. And then lastly, we have some contact information. So let's say we wanted to address our contact by their first name. We can go ahead and do that contact tag. There is other options, last name, email, phone, anniversary, birthday. This information, when this is sent, will pull that contact name from the contact card that this is being sent to. Now, one thing I like to mention here is if you are sending yourself a test email, this is going to still say contact first name, just like you're seeing. The reason for that being is that that email that you are sending a test to is just an email. There's no contact first name associated with the email when it's being sent. So to test that tag and make sure that it is working, you can do the same thing we did for previewing our header and footer. We can hit preview. And now we have a search contact option in the top right corner. So we could go ahead and pull in 123 test. It's going to pull in that first name so we can see that that is working and that it's pulling in the contact's first name. Okay, and you can test that with any of your contacts in your database, no matter which one you want to use. You can kind of go ahead and pull that to make sure it's working. Okay, again, same options as before with all the text and the styling for everything else. Our next option is a button or an image, I'm sorry, jumping around. So let's say instead of having May newsletter, we wanted to pull in an image. Let's go ahead and delete this box. Let's go ahead and add an image up there, okay? And then really quick, let me see if I can just find May newsletter image for us to save and use. Here we go. Let's just pull this one. Nice and simple. So I'm going to save this to my computer. I can check the file type. Oh, that was good. Okay, so now we're going to come to images. We're going to go ahead and grab that one and pull it in from our computer. Here it is. We're going to select it and hit save. And it's going to pull that image directly into my design, okay? Now, when I have that image, I can make it clickable if I want to redirect them to a website. Let's say I want to redirect them to my KW website. If they click on it by accident or on purpose, whichever, I can go ahead and link that and add my website. Again, styling is going to be the same throughout, so we have those options as well. And now we have our image, okay? Moving down, we have a button. Now the button allows your client, consumer, whoever's viewing this to click on that. Maybe you want to redirect them to a specific website. Maybe you want them to RSVP for an upcoming event, learn more about something you've got going on, sign up, whatever you want that button to be. You can change that text. Let's say sign up here. We can link that again. Let's say we had a specific registration form or sign up link. We can go ahead and link that. That way when they click that, it will redirect them to sign up or register. Now our styling has changed a little bit. We have fill content or fill container. Fill container is going to fill that entire space, so you can choose whichever you like. You have the background color. Again, you can change that if you want to. Let's say we want to pull in this color up here. We can change our text again and our size. We can change the color of our text. So let's say we want to pull in, let's see if I can get a dark enough color. Not really super dark, but you get the point. We can change that padding again. That's the space above or below. Don't have to. And then you have your border again, okay? So lots of options there. Moving along, we've already done the header and the footer, so we have a listing block. Let's go ahead and drag that here. Now, a listing block is going to allow you to pull in your listings that you want to highlight. Um, and you can autofill from listings. So if we go ahead and click that, we'll give it a second to load. You'll see that we're able to pull in listings. We can show all listings or just ours. We can search by address, MLS number, or the KWLS ID. And I'm going to we'll search this one I've got right here. And this allows me to pull in that listing. It's going to allow me to view all of the photos, select the one that I'd like to use. It's also going to pull in the address, the listing price, the information on the property. Everything is pulled in directly to that listing, okay? Now, with that being said, I can come in and edit anything that may have pulled incorrectly. I can also add a hyperlink again. So if I want them to be redirected to my website for this specific property, we can do that. So let's come to our SLM site. Let's search. Oh, I missed it. We're going to go ahead and just grab that. Let me go back one second. Here it is. We're going to grab that property page so that they'll be redirected to this page on the website if they were to click on that. So link, we're going to do web address, and we'll plug that in. Again, we can change our font if we want it to be consistent throughout. We can change the color again if we'd like. Let's go ahead and grab this red. All of the same information. Now this one does have a layout option, okay? We can change it to be vertical or horizontal. One thing I like to mention with this is if you are sending this and someone is viewing it on a mobile device, it's already going to display vertical instead. So just keep that in mind. You want to check out that mobile just to make sure everything is lined up correctly and looks good on all of the different devices, okay? Moving along. You can add as many of these listing blocks as you'd like. You can autofill them from the listing every time. So if we want to pull another one, let's just grab this one. You can pull as many as you'd like. So if you have 5 listings, 10 listings, you can do the same thing for all of those, okay? Go ahead and grab our color here just to keep it consistent. And that is how we do that. And again, we can do the vertical instead if we want. That is kind of an optional. Okay. Moving down, our next option is an event block, okay? So this would be great if you had an open house coming up, or if you had a client event and you want to highlight that. It's going to give you an entire box with a photo option, a date and time, a title, description, as well as a button. So if you didn't want to use the button up here, you could just use it within a full event. And we can go ahead and replace the photo here. I don't know if I have an open house one available in here. For an example, we can go ahead and use this, that's fine. Let's go ahead and put open house. So we have our open house. This is a flyer, but you can use it. We can again add any links we might want to, adjust any of the styling. If we come down, we then have our date and time. Let's go ahead and adjust this to May 10th. We'll do 1 to 3. Again, styling, same thing. We can adjust any of that color, text, all that good stuff. We can change our title. Let's say this is open house. We can add a description. Maybe we want to put some information about the property. We can go ahead and add that here if we want to. And then we can adjust that button again as well. View details, learn more, whatever you want that to say. And then you can redirect them again to either the property page on your website, an open house sign-in sheet, whatever you wanted to link that to. You can change your background. All of that same stuff is going to be the same here, okay? Now our next thing is video, okay? So we'll pull in a video. Now, when you're pulling in a video to these email designs, it does need to be a public-facing video. So it would need to be on YouTube or a similar platform. I'm going to go ahead and just grab one of these videos for today. We'll grab the URL here. And we're going to take that back and we're going to just insert our video URL right here. Now, when we add that URL, we still need to add a thumbnail or a photo that's going to display. So we'll still want to hit replace. And I'm just going to grab one of these from a different class. And we want to add our thumbnail there. Okay. Again, you can adjust that width, padding, border, etc. Okay. That is it though. Just the URL and the photo, and then any of that other adjustments you might want to make. Now, our last content option is a market snap. So let's go ahead and pull that in. It's going to say neighborhood trends. You can change that. You're going to pull based on a zip code or actually, yeah, just a zip code. I was thinking city, but it will allow you to pick a specific neighborhood within that zip code. So you can go ahead and just pick one. And once you have one picked, it will adjust the map. It will also adjust all of these statistics that are appearing down here. Okay, so it will pull in all of those details and plug all of that in. Now, once that's there, you can, of course, change your neighborhood name if you want to. You can adjust that font again, the color. If we wanted to go back up and grab our ready color, we can. Reddish color. It will adjust the top. You can also adjust the body text, so down lower, we'll just make that black so it's a little easier to see. And then everything else can still be adjusted as well. Now, sometimes we get questions about, can I adjust the numbers that are pulling? Currently, it pulls the information and it cannot be edited. However, you could create your own design or image to add there instead of pulling one directly from this, okay? So you can certainly create your own image and pull your own statistics into that, okay? Now, once our full email design is created, we have everything in here that we want to add. We can go ahead and preview that, make sure everything is working. We've got all of our details. We can check our name again. It's pulling. We have all of our images. We're good to go. Now we can send ourselves a test email. Now, when sending yourself a test email, that will automatically go to your KW email. If you do not have a KW email created, it will default to your recovery email. There's no option to change the email that this is sent to. It will automatically go to one of those two places. So, but you can go ahead and send that test. And then we can go ahead and save and close, okay? So we're going to save and close. And now we want to go into our campaigns and we want to actually send out our email, okay? So we're going to go to campaigns, create a campaign, and we're going to do email. I'm just going to name this class again to keep it simple. And let's say we're just going to do other. We kind of created just a newsletter with a bunch of different information, but make sure you set your goal based on what the purpose of your email is, okay? So I'm going to do other. We're using command mail. You can use MailChimp. And we're going to create. Now from there, we can create our campaign, okay? So our campaign name, this is internal, only for you to see. We can adjust our goal if we need to. The account that is being used, send to. So who do we want to send this to? So now we want to make sure we create our list. And actually, I'm going to go back just one step to create our list. So I'm going to go to agent. We're just going to start back at command and we're going to go back to campaigns. I feel like it's a little easier to create the list outside of this section. So we're going to create the list and then just pull it in. So we're going to come to emails. And here we're going to hit email lists, okay? We can see all of our previous lists that we've created, how many contacts are in that, the name, all that good stuff. We're going to hit create new, create list. I'm going to name this again 5.8 demo. And now we can pull in specific contacts that we'd like to send this email to. I'm going to do this using a tag for today. That's generally the easiest way. However, you can just send it to all of your contacts if you want. Now, when you're using a tag and you're pulling these contacts in, keep in mind that if you're adding new contacts to your database and they are using that tag, your email list will not automatically update. You will need to update your email list every time to make sure you're adding those new people into your list, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and select all. If I had more, I would come down and load all or see more until everyone is loaded, and then I can hit that select all. But I don't have that many, so we're going to go ahead and select and confirm. Now that I have my list, I can always edit this, delete it, add more contacts to it, whatever I want to do. The only contacts that will appear are contacts that have emails available to be used, okay? So you can't send an email campaign to someone that doesn't have an email. Now that we have our list created though, let's go back. And now we want to just pull in that list. And I might need to refresh since I created that after the fact. So let's go ahead and save draft. And then it's right here. I can come back in and edit that. And there is my list, okay? So usually easiest to create that first. Moving down, we have our send from. This is going to be the name that appears when the email is sent. And if someone replies to your email, this is where that email will be forwarded to, okay? You can, of course, edit these within your settings of command. Right here under command mail, you can hit manage. You do get 5,000 emails per month included with your command. If you need more than that, you can manage your subscription and upgrade. You can change your sender name and then that reply to email. Now you can only change the reply to email when emails are physically sent using the command platform. They will be sent from an email that says agent, a bunch of numbers at mailer.kw.com. That email cannot be changed currently, but the reply to email can be changed. So that is what you will adjust here. Moving down, we have our subject. This is what the consumer will see when they receive that email. So you can edit that based on what you'd like them to see. And then we have content. This is where we're going to pull in our email design. So we're going to pull in this one from today's class. It's going to allow us to view that and make any final edits that we might need to. Otherwise, we can go ahead and hit exit. I didn't make any changes. And now I have my design over here on the right-hand side so I can view it, make sure it's good to go, and then I can either send, schedule, or save draft, okay? So if I wanted to go ahead and send this out, I can. If I want to schedule it for a specific date and time, I can come in and adjust that. I'm going to go ahead and save draft. I don't want to send this. Once it's sent, you'll have your email here. It will generally show processing for about 24 hours. After 24 hours has passed, it should update and start to provide you with some statistics based on clicks and opens and things like that. You'll see over here on the left or right hand side, you can edit, duplicate, or archive. Once it is sent, that edit will go away and you can only duplicate and archive, okay? Like these down here, we can just duplicate or archive. If we wanted to click into one of these, you can. This allows you to view some more details as to sends, delivered, opens, unsubscribes, etc. So this will allow you to see who it was sent to, who actually opened it. If they unsubscribed, it will show their name, email address, etc. So you can view all of that here. I go back. So that is our email campaigns, okay? I do want to show you guys how to edit a template really quickly. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. And we're going to head back to designs for 1 second and take a look at those templates. So this time we're going to hit create, email again. And now we want to just take a look at one of these templates, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at this open house one. And we're going to do next. Now this email will already have all of the contents built into it. That is not to say that you can't add whatever you might like. Let's say you have a video of the property, you can add that. If you want to add some other properties that you have on top of this open house, you can, of course, add more listing blocks, a snapshot of the neighborhood, whatever you might want to include, you can certainly include that. But when it comes to this, it's already created, so all we have to do is kind of edit it. Let's do May. And we'll leave it 10 to 3, that is okay. We can go ahead and pull in our photo. Now this time we're going to hit replace. And we're going to come to this listings images. And again, you're going to search for this the same as the last one. So we'll go ahead and just search. We'll view our property. Let's go ahead and pick one of these. Let's do this one this time. Now, one thing I want to point out, when you're pulling in information this way versus the listing block, as you can see, it only pulled in the photo, okay? So none of this other information was updated when we did this. So we would need to come in and manually edit that. And I closed that on accident. So let's find it really quick. Oops. Computer is a little bit slow right now because it is not typing, even though I'm typing. Bear with me one moment, guys. We're just going to pull in these details from this property. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. We're going to go ahead and just plug that in. I'm going to leave it like it is. We're going to just make it a little bit smaller. Center. Actually, there we go. Want to adjust our bedrooms, bathrooms. So we've got 13 bed, 18 baths. So you just want to edit these individually. So that's why it's a little different because it's not quite as quick and easy, I think. Go ahead and get our square footage done. And then our listing price. Ooh. And then we get something like that. There we go. So then we'd want to pull in the additional photos. So we want to pull this again. Each time we're going to have to search that property again. So it is going to take a little bit more time this way, but you still get the same information. It's just going to take a little bit more steps. So each time we pull this, we've got to grab that address and pull in a property. Let's just do this one. And then, of course, if you want to link that website again, you can grab that. Link to. You do fill container instead, whatever you want to do. That is how to edit those. Now, the reason I always mention those designations, license number, again, these are pulling into this design based on the template that's here. So if your profile is missing any of that information, you will most likely see an error when you try to send this out. Now we're going to go ahead and save and close. One last thing I'd like to mention is that it does not show the unsubscribe when you are doing the email design here or when you send a test email. However, when you do actually send that email out, it will have a unsubscribe option. Let me see if I can show you guys really quick what that looks like. Let's see, that is not it. Give me 1 minute. Let's try this one. Here we go. All right, let me share my, make sure my screen share is the right way so you guys can see this. All right, so when you actually send out an email to your clients, again, it will come from an agent, a bunch of numbers at mailer.kw.com. There is no way to edit that. It will automatically come from that type of email, but your replies will go to whichever email you request. And this one's actually not showing it, but there will be an unsubscribe option right down here in the bottom left corner of your email when it is actually sent out to your clients. This is test email, so that's why it's not showing it, but it will have it all the way down here underneath all of this information, okay? So just like to make sure you guys know that that is there. Alrighty, guys. That is our class for today. Like I said, we might get done a little early with not too many people here for Red Day. If you have questions, though, drop those in the chat. I'm gonna stop record. And if you guys need to rewatch this video, you can find it on our YouTube channel. I will drop this link in the chat for you guys. And you can always reach out to our support email. It is support@scottleroymarketing.com. Again, if you have any questions, drop those in the chat. We'll go through them. If not, we can jump off a little early too. That is fine too.